Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Why I Love Flagler County, your local podcast spotlighting local businesses and local residents on what they love about Flagler County. So today I'm in a completely new setting. Thank you guys so much at Win Mortgage for kind of letting us borrow this space and doing pretty much my first ever podcast in person for this podcast. So thank you so much, Jared, for coming on. I really appreciate it right now.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so JR knows he knew my dad and we got connected. We met kind of at the beach. And then it's been awesome kind of following his journey along and all the amazing things that he's doing. So I'll kind of let you dive deep in a little bit more and explain how you're helping the community and what you're doing. But first, why don't you kind of start us off easy? Tell me a little bit about your journey coming here to Flagler.
Okay. So I was in Portland, Oregon for 12 years, and I was there as a missionary to the city. My wife and I and my sons started a church called Grace Point Ministries. And after 12 long years in that city, it was time for us to discover a new place. And so we arrived in Flagler County and Palm Coast in January of 23.
Oh, wow.
So I'm kind of newer to the community, but
Definitely.
definitely discovering sunshine exists
Yes.
and a lot of great people down here. And we found a home and settled in the B section. So,
Nice. Yeah, I actually know a few people who are from Portland as well.
okay.
So it's so funny all the different people, all the different states people are coming from to come to Palm Coast. I feel like there's about five people who are like originally from Palm Coast. But that's awesome. So you're doing a lot of great things in business when it comes to kind of guiding, I think, other businesses and other people on different parts. So why don't you explain a little bit about what your business is about?
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity. So JR Meyer Consulting is the name of my business. And what I'm basically doing is I'm meeting owners that care about their employees and want to do more for them, but don't know how there is affordable alternatives out there, especially to the health market. So what I do is I meet with a business owner that has three or more employees and figure out a way to kind of help them dive in and consult with them.
Hmm.
So I don't have necessarily anything in mind.
Hmm.
80% is what I do is Aflac
Hmm.
with supplemental health. And they have like 11 products that we bring. It's kind of like an a la carte.
Yes.
And so I bring that as an opportunity, as an offering.
Yeah.
I also have some Ally Health, which is telemedicine, very affordable for the entire family as well. And it has like, no copay and see a doctor right away from your phone anywhere in the world
Nice.
and get a diagnosis and skip the waiting room and the germs. So
Yeah.
and then I just recently got contracted with New York Life to do some group life, and so it gives me a little bit more availability to help people maybe with cancer or diabetes in a group. We can offer them a life insurance guaranteed, no
Okay.
questions asked.
Yeah.
And so I enjoy that portion of it and tax savings and tax estate planning is a specialty of mine. Life insurance is a passion
Yeah.
because in the ministry, I saw so many people that didn't have it and talked to funeral homes. And basically, it's, just a horrible thing to come down to the end of your life or tragically lose a life. And then you're on fundraising on Facebook, asking other people to take care of something you could have easily taken care of. And so I try to passionately share education. So,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
there's a lot of great things that you mentioned. So, I mean, I know a lot about Aflac and how the different ways that they help you. I know so many people who are part of Aflac or have benefited from Aflac, so it's a great company to be a part of. There's just
sure.
a lot of things, so many different things, like you mentioned, that you can help businesses who really care about their employees, I want to say, and really want to make sure that they're giving them the benefits that make sense for the workplace. And so it's awesome. And I'm so glad that you touched on life insurance because it's a really important part. It's one of those things where I think we kind of all know in the back of our head we probably need eventually. But when that time comes, I feel like people are like, oh, well, I can just put it off later. I can put it off tomorrow, right? I'm not gonna die tomorrow. It's not gonna happen, so I have to put it off. But as we know, we're not in control of something like that. And like you mentioned, it's if it's something that you can take care of. Like I'm very young, so mine is very cheap compared to maybe someone else who's a little bit older, maybe a few more health concerns. Um, People my age they don't really think about stuff like that. They're like, yeah, I'm 22, I'm invincible, I'm fine. It's like, yeah, but it could be like so much cheaper if you do it right now. So there's a lot of great things on that. Are there any things when it comes to maybe learning a little bit more about the different types of insurance or different types of things that you're doing that you kind of tell people to keep in the back of their mind as they start shopping around for these stuff?
Yeah, I think, number one, we do have a situation in America that's a broken system,
Mm-hmm.
and that is our healthcare system. When you mention health insurance to people right away, they just want to say no.
Mm.
And so I bring a healthy alternative with my consulting that's very affordable. All of our policies are $5 to $15 a piece
Wow.
a week. So very affordable, from dental to vision to accident to hospitalization to critical care. Cancer policies, probably our most life-changing policy.
Yeah.
We just paid $175,000 to a lady in Florida.
Wow.
And the values of Aflac are amazing because they don't charge anything for kids,
Oh, okay.
but we actually pay double in case they got initially diagnosed. So,
Mm.
it's an a la carte situation. I go through a consultant, consult a HIPAA conversation with them, individually. So once the owner agrees that they want to bring me in, it's all about trust. I educate them as a group and kind of let them know, hey, no network. We never raise your prices. We never drop you. We're a top 200 company and you'll pay the same price. And if you ever leave here, we're not going to raise your price 40% like other like Cobra systems. We actually keep that the same. You can transfer it to your payment instead of the payroll. And there's some pre-tax benefits that can help. So, as far as shopping around, I feel like if people would have a consult with me, an owner, that they could find out within about 20-30 minutes whether it's a good business fit. And
Yeah.
I'm going to focus on the business side.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on retention.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to focus on turnover cost, which every business has. And most businesses don't know what their turnover cost is, but each employee has a higher turnover cost than the other.
Mm.
So for instance, a high management that's been with you for 5 years, let's say he leaves or gets sick or injured, and he can't work anymore, it's going to cost the business a lot more than somebody that's basically a 12 or $15 wage earner and then basically is an entry point level. They still have a turnover cost because they have to train them as well. So, I get down into, more of the business sense and I really try to bring value back. And if I can lower turnover cost, if I can set up pre-tax benefits for, let's say, 5, 6 or more employees, I can really make sure that it's less expensive for the employee, number one. Number two, the employer can contribute and it's a tax write-off. So there's a lot of benefits. I have a lot of experience doing consulting and I love what I do. And I really change people's lives and educate with passion so that they can make a wise decision, an
Mhm.
educated decision for what's best for the family. And
Yeah,
if they don't choose it that day, they still know what they can add a little bit in the future.
definitely.
But I guess what drives me and gives me passion, some people ask me why I'm so passionate and so intense. I've seen a lot of stuff. I mean, in ministry, I've seen a lot of stuff in personal in my life. And I've been in insurance for, over 10 years. You can't call me, once the thing happens, you know,
Hmm.
and that's the saddest phone call I have to take is the lady that says, hey, I want life insurance now. And then my question back to you is, why are you calling me now? Something happened, right? I want dental insurance now, right? I want accident insurance now. I want you can't get it now. And so, putting things in place ahead of time very affordably is protection. So, and insurance is risk transferred to the insurance company at a certain price.
Yeah,
That's what it
and
means.
there's even it's so important that you talked about it. Like even I mentioned, when we're young, we think nothing's gonna happen.
Correct.
Well, like for example, like my mom, she got married to my dad, at 22, and a week later after the wedding, she got diagnosed with lupus. And
Oh,
it's one of those things, like she's just so young. It's not something that they really had a lot of education about, right? My dad came from India, so he was still like pretty new to the country and learning all these things.
sure.
And my family, on my mom's side, they didn't really know either, because they were also immigrants, who didn't really know English as well. So it's like it's hard, and I'm glad that you talked a lot about, you just want to educate people, you want to spread the word, right? Sometimes all you can do is educate. And people do with it, whatever they want, but at least open that door for them and you let them start thinking like, oh, these are options you can have right now. These are different options. If you don't want this, we don't have to have this. If you want this, we can have this. If you want both, we can do that. So there's a whole lot of things, but I'm glad that you want to come from like a more consulting and education standpoint. Like, hey, this is just what I know. This is what I've seen. This is what I have. You call the shots, but at least I kind of started that journey of at least now you're thinking about it more and you know that there are options out there. So I think that's really great that you're so passionate and you really just want to share with everyone that these things exist because a lot of people just really don't know it exists and then it hurts when those things happen, and they're just not prepared enough.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to kind of wrap it up, we'll kind of leave on maybe like a little bit of a happier note. I mean, I know you're still pretty new here to Flagler. Are there any things you and your family like to do? Maybe places to go, events to go to, groups to join, anywhere to kind of get active with the community, kind of put themselves out there.
Sure. Well, I'm definitely a food connoisseur because of Portland. They have a lot of
Yes.
great food out there. And I've noticed that locally here, there's a lot of great small mom and pop shops. You know, as a small business owner, which I am, I'm contracted with large companies, but they don't control me. I'm still a 1099 business owner. So I run my business as a small business, and that's my passion is to help small businesses because that's the heartbeat of America. So I enjoy the local food places that I'm, getting referred to. And I've found some favorites here in Flagler, favorites in St. Joe's Plaza. You know, I want to give it, a huge shout out to Mike at Good Vibes, and he, is a great man and does a lot for the community. And so he's kind of connected me with your family, and not just them, but I'm part of a business network as well, Business Professionals of Palm Coast, oldest, longest standing networking group. And so, it was just making connections with great people, and there's great people in the BNI as well that I have relationships with. Food is great. I love the beach. I love the fact that we have sunshine here, and play
Oh,
pickleball and golf. And so my family plays pickleball, and we used to go to Holland, but now we go to the Southeast Recreational Center. It's really nice. They have great food there as well. Shout out to Redefine Foods.
yep.
But Turtle Shack spot up here. That's really good food. I like El Pollo Coloro. Thai by Thai is really good food. I'm sure there's more authentic places I'm leaving out. We got to be careful. But there's a lot of great food here, and there's a lot of great small businesses.
Yes.
And to meet the business owners here and to really plug myself in this community is a passion of mine
Yeah.
because I get hugs all over the city when I talk about Aflac. I get stories from individuals um, that basically say, "Hey, Aflac changed my life," or "Aflac changed my sister's life," and really pay. And that's the difference. We pay cash for for the employee situations. We don't give money to the doctors and hospitals, so you can use it for whatever you need to. And just I always recommend, just give me a call to talk because had a pastor have a heart attack
Mhm.
2 days before I was supposed to put things in play. And then I had another local business here. It's a pet grooming place. And one of his main groomers got in a really bad car accident about a week before. And I had been talking to him for over 2 months. And so, I'm learning Aflac. It's more than just the duck. The duck does pay. It's a top 200 company, but you know, um, short-term disability is something that probably every business owner needs because if the business owner goes down, let's say you're doing good, the business is still going to struggle because you drive that bus. And so, short-term disability is a paycheck protection plan. About 70% of my people need that, and I'm a helper, which is 85% helping rate. So I love to help people, and thank you for the opportunity to kind of come on your show. And
Yeah.
our family loves it here, and we're plugging ourselves in and doing our very best for the
Yeah,
community.
well, thanks so much for coming on and sharing a lot about what you're doing and how you're educating people here in the community and even elsewhere. But there's a lot of great things that you guys are doing. And here at Win Mortgage, if anyone doesn't know, I didn't even really know it existed, but it's here at Flagler Beach. There's so many great small businesses that you mentioned. It's just Flagler Beach is just kind of littered with them in the best way possible. And it's really great. So there's a lot of great things you mentioned. So thank you, JR, for your time today. I really appreciate it. And to everyone listening, I really appreciate you as well. And I will see you next time. Bye.